Hey guys, it's week 3 in the Big Brother house, and they're going after my boy Champagne.
That's right, everybody. Is Brent going to be kicking back in first class, toasting to his victory? Or is he going to be escorted off the plane like some economy schmuck like the rest of us? Stick around, because we're about to find out.
All right, Billy, another week of Big Brother.
Yeah, man.
So this week starts off, and Brent is starting to rub people the wrong way.
You know, I think the funny thing is he's probably been rubbing the people the wrong way. The show just hasn't showed us it yet until this week, right? They're really starting to show us this week, like, what's going on.
Well, he was in the hammock snuggling with Hannah last week, and I thought they were getting kind of close.
Yeah,
but
Brent's talking about taking her home tomorrow.
Not too much. So
Like
Hannah's like,
Hannah hates his guts.
yeah, she can't stand the guy.
Well, you know, and Brent's got that freaking I'm a buff dude, good looking dude, narcissism mentality, and he shows it way too much, right? And most women don't dig that. I mean, some women do. Most women aren't digging that, and they definitely ain't digging that in the house.
And annoying. And I've learned that everyone in the house is sick of Brent. It's not just me, thank God.
People just can't handle he's all that in a bag of chips, Billy. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, right. Nah, man, because he definitely thinks he is. You know, he thinks he's God's gift to women. He thinks he's God's gift to that house, and he's just the strongest person on the planet. I'm a great player, and there's no way in heck that I should be thrown up there as a pawn. So, you know what, man? I'm Brent. I'm Brent, baby.
Yeah, and he already irritated people from last week, Kylan and those folks who he popped on their radar because they tried to make a deal, and he just didn't seem like he was completely going for it. So he was already on the radar, and now Hannah and everyone else, Whitney's not big on him.
No, well, the funny thing is, remember last week, towards the end of it, like, kind of Whitney and him were both on the radar, right? People were talking about, throwing them both up on a chopping block. So you expected at least one of them.
And Hannah's name was mentioned too by
it was.
Xavier.
Mm-hmm. But now Brent is definitely the target. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everybody makes it perfectly clear except Brent. That dude he's freaking clueless.
Now, he did have a conversation with some people, and Brent said that guys cannot have friends with hot women. Do you agree or not?
Alyssa goes, will you be my best friend? I was like, absolutely not. She was like, why? I was like, I just don't believe you could be friends with people you find attractive.
Is he telling the truth, Bill?
You know, man, if I was still Brent's age, I might agree with that. You know, back when I was in my 20s, I might have thought the same thing. Now, nah, man, you can be friends with anybody. You know, you can be friends with hot women, you can be friends with whoever, man. Doesn't matter.
I think I kind of agree with Brent, though. If you're single and you have a hot friend, why wouldn't you be trying to get closer?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Didn't take much convincing. Fair enough. Now, I think he's right. Like, women can definitely do it somehow, but guys...
No, it's definitely harder for us dudes, right? But especially when you're younger, though, man. Like I said, now
if you're married or in a relationship, that changes things to me. But if you're single and you're friends with a hot chick, I don't know.
Yeah, no, okay, all right. I'll cave on that one. All right, you're right.
That doesn't go by my logic, bro. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
There's a lot of documents and books written on the subject, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, fair enough, man. Yeah, because you're definitely, if you're a single dude and you got a hot chick as a friend, yeah, you're definitely be trying to pull something, right?
So they have interesting conversations like that. And even that conversation starting to rub people wrong as well. Probably because of the source.
Because he was having it with two women, and they were just like, "What?" They're like, "You can't just be," because he didn't even say. I mean, he just said females.
They're like, how childish and immature.
Yeah, they're like, "Come on, dude." He's like, "No, man." He's like, "You women can do that. Us guys, it just don't work that way." And sorry, they're just like, "What?" So yeah, he's definitely rubbing the women the wrong way, especially with his narcissism and his just, it's all about, Brent, I'm the man. I know you all love me, sweetheart. I heard the way y'all talk about me, and they're like, we ain't talking about you.
He's definitely not playing it smart, and he probably needs to consider what he says and how it's impacting other people.
And Whitney flat out told him that. Whitney flat out told him.
She tried to.
Yeah,
but I don't think it sunk in.
No, I didn't sink in at all, man. He was just like, nah, man, I'm Brent.
We also see Christian and Alyssa getting close this week.
They're making out so they're making out in the head of household's bed, right? So
that would annoy me.
Xavier walks in on him making out in his bed, and he's like, "What the heck are you guys doing?" Right there. If I was Xavier, I'd have put one of them on the chopping block. I'd be like, "No, sorry, you guys, in my bed, no, man, no way."
Yeah, I just can't see how people think that's cool. Like, I get that the head of household bed is like a king bed; it's the biggest bed in the house, so it's probably a good place to do that, but. That's pretty disrespectful to the person whose bed it is that week.
You wait till your head of household and you pull that crap. You were doing this up in my bed.
And he says, like, go find a couch or something. Yeah, go find a couch, another room, something.
Right, get the heck out of my bed.
Get on the hammock, do what you got to do, but not here.
Exactly, man. And no, I'd have put one of them on the chopping block in a heartbeat if I was him just for that. Like, no, you just disrespected the crap out of me. That's my bed. I earned it. I won the match to win this. This is mine. What the hell are you doing freaking trying to do this crap in my bed? No, it ain't yours.
Frenchie was right about the show, man.
He was, man.
He was right about these two, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
So who's going to take care of this? I don't know.
Yeah, man. And then, that's the thing, too, now, because, people are finally starting to see that, and they're seeing not only is it a showmance, but it's a showmance on the strongest team in the freaking house right now, right? Because they're the only ones with freaking 4 people left. So it's not looking good for everybody else. And
it might be a problem later.
And it's almost a little too late for a lot of people where they're finally catching on to this.
Perhaps. So they had the wild card comp, and it's called Unlucky 13. You want to break that down?
Yeah, man. So it was kind of cool. So they set it up to where each person had a little shelf in front of their. Sorry, you had all 3 of them are standing. So, first of all, let's see 3 people, right? It was Tiffany got picked, Derek X got picked, and then. And then poor Brittany got picked, right?
And I like the reason why they picked Brittany, because she was up on the block, so they're trying to give her a chance to
redeem herself, right?
Yeah, to redeem herself and have safety potentially for the week.
But unfortunately for Brittany, you got the cookout who is completely against or not only her team, but everybody else in the freaking house, right? So you got the cookout against her. You got
the Royal Flush
against her, who Derek's the only person that's not a king or a queen that's on it.
And this is probably 3/4 of the house in both these groups. So
yeah, exactly. So
there aren't too many people left out from that.
Right, and Tiffany's part of both groups. Derek's part of the Royal Flush, so the only one who's left out here is Brittany, right? So they got the way it's set up is you got those three people are standing on one side of a room. On the other side of the room, you got 3 podiums with 4 different slots on each podium. And you've basically got to come up to equal. So, each person's got cards in front of them. So they got to draw a card.
Balance beam.
They got to draw a card. They got to cross this balance beam. And if they fall off, they've got to start back over. Whoa. And then you got to put the numbers up in other people's slots or your slot. And you got to equal 13. So if you equal 13, then they're kicked out, right? So poor Brittany, unfortunately, is getting ganged up on, right? So you got Tiffany and freaking Derek who are just going right at her. She sees it. The rest of the house sees it. Of course, she gets disheartened about it. But you know what, Brittany? You had your chance. Like
even though she was getting ganged up on,
she had
a moment to get one amount.
Yeah. So she had a 4 in her hand. There was a 5, a 3, and a 2, right? And what does that equal?
Well, all the cards were adding up to 14, so she needed to subtract 1.
No. She needed to add 1.
Either way, it was add or subtract 1.
So there was a 5, a 3, and 2 2s. She had a 4 in her hand, and it was like, look, pull that 3 out and put your freaking 4 in there. And then you got 13 and Derek's gone, right? She could have taken Derek out right there, and she's standing there, and she said she's a valedictorian and she's great at math and all this, but she's standing there and can't figure out how to get to 13.
She's a kindergarten teacher,
right? And
it might show.
And of course, with all the stress and everything, it's kind of understandable, but it's like, come on, man. Like, as soon as I looked at those cards.
She's not used to teaching that advanced math.
Right. So instead, she ended up going and putting it in her own and taking another number when she could have kicked Derek out, and then it could have been down to her and Tiffany, and maybe she would have stood a chance. But she didn't do that, and they ganged up on her, kicked her out. Tiffany won, and that was it.
And I could see it's a high-stress situation. 2 people were ganging up on her, so she probably felt overwhelmed. So even the simplest of tasks can be difficult in those situations. So I get it, but she was staring at it for quite a while. So
she was staring at it.
She should have got it together. I think she didn't even put a card in his slot and put one on her own as like a defensive move there, but she could have eliminated Derek and then have been one-on-one with Tiffany, and she would have had a much better chance.
Exactly, but she blew it. I mean, whether if she was getting double teamed or not, she blew it. She had her moment and she blew it, and that was her own fault. But with that aside, the whole house saw what was happening, right? So of course, the house members who weren't part of the cookout or who weren't part of Royal Flush, or even some of the cookout members aren't part of Royal Flush, so they don't know about that group. So even some of them are like, "Whoa, what's going on here? Why are these two?" Why is Tiffany and Derek working
the Derek
together?
Piece. Some of them I don't understand the Derek.
Yeah. So the people in the cookout who aren't part of Royal Flush were kind of like, what's going on here? So like Aja and Derek F are like, hey, what's going on? It's messed up. Why are you guys teaming up on Brittany like this? Because of course Brittany's their teammate on part of the Jokers, right? So so that right there kind of got people thinking like, okay, kind of what's going on here? Maybe there's something there. Aja was like, there's something going on in this house that I'm not privy to, that my cookout partners are keeping from me. And so she's like, I kind of need to be wary and kind of figure out what's going on here. So she's kind of getting an idea that there's something else going on in this house that the cookouts is in on that she's not in on. So,
but Tiffany wins, and then she's get the option to gets safety, but someone from the aces or jokers also gets safety.
No, aces and jokers.
Oh, aces. One person from each of those
team.
groups
So,
gets safety as well. And that really would have limited who could go up at that point.
Right, exactly. So, because right now, everything's going their way. Right now, they got Brent and Brittany on the chopping block. And everything's going there, because, we didn't even mention they had the nomination, right? So, then, of course.
I think that came after, right?
Yeah. Well, the nomination came after, but their plan was to put Brent and Brittany on the chopping block. So they knew that if she took that deal and got immunity for herself, but it could have been one of them to get immunity, she wasn't willing to risk that. She's like, nope, I'm just not going to do that because I know I'm safe.
And that should have been a red flag to some people. Why would Tiffany forego safety? And you're only pulling one person from each of those teams. Why should Tiffany care? Right. That should be an indicator to some people like, hey, there's something going on here. And most people know it. And if you're not privy to it, you probably should be asking about it. Yep. Or at least talking about it.
Yep.
So
then we had the nominations. And of course, as we were talking about, they nominated.
Well, first they're still talking about it, right? And then Azah goes up to Xavier and it's like, you can't put Brittany on the
chopping block. Yeah.
And
she's like, I can't stand
here. That was really cool of her to do.
Yeah.
And she was genuine, and she saw how
much
it affected Brittany, and she's like, I'd rather you just put me up. Don't put her up as a pawn. Put me up. And she probably feels pretty good knowing that Brent's going home, too. So that was something really cool for her, and Xavier's kind of like, nah. I can't do that. I can't risk that.
Right, because
I can't. There's not much else that I can do.
Put me up.
Well, because you're part of the cookout, and the other cookout members will be pissed because we already made a deal saying we're not going to put each other on the block ever. So if I do that, that's kind of me turning, even though he could have told the rest of the cookout members, look, Aja volunteered to do this, so I'm just going to put her up because we already know Brent's going home anyway. So I kind of didn't get his understanding on that because they would have understood and be like, all right, cool, she's trying to protect her teammate, who we're not wanting to send her home anyway, right?
Maybe, so they might have been worried that Brent would have been onto it because they were really about minimizing Brent's response to these nominations for whatever reason. I'm not really sure why. I don't know what kind of havoc he could have caused, but that was a concern to Xavier.
No, and that's true too because Aja has been on nobody's radar. So then Brent might be like, Aja, like, why are you picking Aja? Whereas Brittany's already been on the block once. So yeah, Brittany was definitely kind of the better route to go there with that, I guess. Because Aja would have been harder to explain.
It's
for sure.
funny because Xavier goes up to Brent and he's like, thinking about putting you up as a pawn. What do you think?
Brent's like, what? He's like, man, I ain't no pawn.
Yeah,
He's
Brent's like, I am not pawn material.
I'm a strong character in this game. I'm a smart guy, Xavier. I know you're smart, Brent. No, man, no. People look at my body and they think, oh, this guy is smart. But I'm a smart guy, man. I'm a smart guy. And Xavier's like, no, man, yeah, you're a smart guy.
I can't go up. I'm too much of a threat. I can't. I'm technically, physically not pawn material. I go, and then everything crumbles.
It's kind of like you would break that trust with me if you did that. And I liked where he was going with all that kind of stuff. And it kind of did show some intelligence from him then. But at the same time, he's kind of blind to the other people in the house outside of Xavier. But he's a little bit on the Xavier at least.
Yeah, he's on Xavier. But the 2 people, 3 people that he wasn't onto and he shouldn't have had to been onto was his teammates, right? His teammates are in on this scam because, because you got Whitney and freaking Hannah, which neither one of them like him at this point, right? And they both want to get rid of him. And so, it's this poor guy, like he thinks at least his team's going to back him up. Hey, I got my team. They're going to back me up. I know I got, these other people because, me and X are cool. Me and this person's cool. Me and Kylan, we got something, we're cool. I know I'm good. So I should have the numbers, so I'm not worried. So this poor guy's thinking that he's at least got the people on his team to protect him.
Yeah, and I think Derek kind of like smirks sometimes when he's coming over. Like he's trying, but you can see a little bit of it in his face. And you could probably really pressure him. But no, he was a little clueless there. But what do you think about Brittany? She gets nominated again. She breaks down again. I'm like, this is a grown woman. I get like the show could be tough. It's stressful, but crying, don't let people see you like that.
Yeah,
it's
man,
just a show. We see this time and time on this show, but I'm just kind of like.
But you've had grown men. Look at how many times we've seen Kylan cry.
Another baby.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, dude. Kylan's like very feminine. You're a very feminine dude, man. You see that dude crying all the time.
I've been deployed multiple times. I've been away from my family for 6 months at a chunk. I don't get like crying because you're away from your family for
you and me both, man.
Weeks.
My first 5 years.
No one's life's in danger.
My first 7 years in the Marine Corps, I deployed 5 times. I was never home. I was never around my family. For these people who are in this house for a couple of weeks together, it's like, come on, man. And the thing is, the big thing here, they're crying. I don't want to go home. I want to get kicked off. I want to win. But look, you didn't have that $750,000 to begin with, right? So if you go home, you're not losing anything. right? You're just going home the same way you came. So it's not like you're, and you got to meet new people and kind of have fun in this house, right? So
and I think it's okay to be a little emotional.
Well, you can be
especially
upset
on some things,
yeah.
but she was like,
oh, dude, she's super emotional.
Yeah.
Well, then of course, but
it's just a game. Come on.
Yeah, but then Aja, Aja's just a very good-hearted person, man. Very good-hearted, and I like that.
Brittany is lucky she's got really good teammates.
Oh yeah,
Derek F.
Yep.
and Aja are amazing.
Oh,
teammates.
dude, they are awesome, man. They're just good-hearted freaking people all around, And
they see how hard Brittany's taking it, and they're taking it on their own to make her feel better. And they seem like good, genuine people.
Right. But even though Derek does kind of like, yeah, as bad as I feel for Brittany, he's like, Oz's got to understand that, hey, this is the cookout, cookout first. Even though Brittany's his teammates, even Derek F is kind of going against the grain on this a little bit.
Play the game,
so,
right?
Right, exactly.
You know. And some people seem like they're forgetting that a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because though everyone's hell bent on getting Brent out, like, is that really the best for your game
and for your team? Like his teammates, voting against him.
Getting rid of someone because they're annoying is kind of a stupid reason.
Move.
You got to do what's best for your game, not because this person's bothering me a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they're bothering you, then go somewhere else and don't talk to them. You don't got to talk to him. It's a big house. You can go anywhere else.
You can't bear with someone.
Like, look, Brent, I don't feel like talking right now. Sorry, brother, I'm busy. And that was not the smartest move. And the funny thing is, later on in the show, some of those characters, especially Derek X, starts realizing, wow, I might be making some mistakes here. Because I'm dwindling down other teams. The Kings are 4 strong still. They're winning competitions. And I'm the only ace in this Royal Flush group, so I'm probably going to be on that chopping block sometime soon myself.
He'll be lucky if they reconfigure the teams. If they don't reconfigure the teams, then this is a losing strategy in the long run.
Oh, yeah,
and
for Derek,
he needs to realize that. Like, sometimes getting rid of your teammates isn't the best thing.
No.
I don't know why you would think that.
No, exactly.
I mean, I get that some people are like, well, the heat's off me, so good. But you got to also worry about what's best for you in the long run as well.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is, we hit on it before. Frenchie kind of hit on it. Brent hit on it. If there's people that are hated, then that keeps the heat off you, right? Keep Frenchie around longer. Keep Brent around longer, because people are going to wait. Keep putting them on the block.
Because how hard is it going to be for you to get rid of some of those other people later on?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who are liked.
Exactly. So sometimes you want to keep those people who aren't liked around, because then that kind of guarantees your safety.
Exactly.
So the fact that they're getting rid of people just because they don't like them. I mean, Frenchie, I understood. Frenchie caused a lot of tension in the house, a lot of drama that was unnecessary. So I understood why they got rid of him. But Brent's just a show. He's just a narcissist who's fooling himself. Whatever, man.
And I don't think he has any ill intentions.
No.
He's just in himself.
Well, and Brent made a point that, look, he's like, I've been pretty much completely honest with people, the whole time and everything. I haven't really lied to anybody. I've been kind of, I've been me. I've been me. You guys have seen me, who I am. And, and he was pretty honest about it, right? I mean, where a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are lying, like, well, Xavier, for instance, right? Xavier's lied his butt off. I'm a bartender / model. When in reality, he's an attorney. And it's funny because they start calling him out on that, right?
They're guessing like he could be this, he could be that.
Right. And then Derek F hits it. Derek F's like, no, I think he's a lawyer. And then
that's pretty impressive.
Like, yeah. Then everybody else is like, yeah, I can kind of see him being a lawyer. So now, and then of course, then Xavier's back in the room and he's like, yeah, Derek F, man, we're supposed to cook out together. Shut up, quit calling me out, So, it's just. Yeah, man, I don't think that was the smartest move for them to put Brent on the chopping block and get rid of him, especially for Derek X. Yeah, I think that was a dumb move on his part for sure.
Well, they had a version of the Bowl Arena competition for the veto.
Mm-hmm.
So Brent and Brittany are on the block, so they're in this game. Same with Xavier, Christian.
Yep, yeah, Xavier, Christian,
Claire,
Brent, Brittany, Claire, and
Derek.
Yeah, Derek F. Yep.
So they're playing this game, and this is one where you hold on to this thing and spin around like a ballerina, and then you bowl. And they have these room numbers, and you have to leave those numbers remaining and knock down all the other ones.
Yeah, so you got numbers 1 through 6 in each lane. Each room number is 3 digits, right? So, you've got, 15 seconds. So you spin, and that drops down the lane blocker, and then you've got 15 seconds to run after you just spun and got yourself dizzy and hit the 3 numbers that aren't the 3 numbers that are on the key, so you can win that round.
Yeah, and unfortunately for these two, it's Brent and Brittany going against each other right out the gate.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So it's Brittany's choice, and she chooses Brent. So that potentially could end it right there.
But she started out doing pretty well at first, and then at the end she kind of fell off, and Brent beat her. And then of course
Brent was all over the place during that competition. Yeah, he was, he was like falling over everything.
And then and then the person that made the smart choice was Xavier was next. So hey, Brent just already is dizzy as crap. So guess what?
Yeah, so Brent beats Brittany, And then I can't even believe they allowed this. They shouldn't allow someone to
go right
picked.
after. Yep.
Yeah, but that's obviously a smart strategy.
It is. And then I thought Derek F was so stupid afterward because you got Xavier that played against Brent. Brent was already trashed, right? So Xavier wins, but now he's dizzy and Brent's throwing up. And then Derek F gets to choose, and instead of choosing Xavier, who's already dizzy, who's like, to go against, like he just like Xavier did to Brent, he chooses somebody fresh. He chooses Whitney. I'm like, why did he do that? Why would you not choose Xavier just like Xavier did against Brent?
With Brent out,
that was a stupid move.
It really didn't matter too much, but
but Derek F wanted to win so he could help his partner get off the chopping block. He wanted to get Brittany off the chopping block. So if you want to win,
I thought he did play back to back though.
Who?
Derek F.
He played back to back, yeah. But what he should have done was picked Xavier and made him play back to back against him. So so Xavier and Christian played this game super smart, right?
I mean, Derek F was pretty done after his thing. I mean, same thing with Brent. Like those guys didn't really stand much of a chance going back to back. Yeah. And I mean, I'm with them. As I get older, I can't handle like being dizzy or any of that kind of stuff. It just jacks me. Like roller coasters, I used to love them. Can't handle them anymore.
Nah, me either, man. I took my son to where we go, Busch Gardens, like last month. And he was wanting to ride all these roller coasters, and I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. After the third one, I was toast. I was like, nah, man. It's like, nah, I'm good.
And you probably weren't even going on them back to. You're probably like 50 minutes in between or something.
We were going back to back pretty good. At least the first two was back to back. The third one, we went and got something to eat, and then we went and rode it. But then after that third one, man, I was toast, dude. I was like, nah, I can't do it. Huh? I was done. I was literally done for the day. We were walking around, and I was like, hey, son, you want to go ride that one? Go ahead, man. But I'm out.
Yeah, so I get it. Like, I probably wouldn't be spinning around on that thing very quick. I'd probably try and pace myself.
Yeah, definitely.
And hope it pays off in the end, but who knows?
So, anyway, Christian, it goes down to Derek. It goes down. Comes down to the last final two, Brent and Christian, or excuse me, Xavier and Christian. So it doesn't matter who wins because they both, they're both working together anyway. So Christian wins, decides not to use the veto. So now you got the two on the chopping block.
And Christian just won 2 back-to-back challenges, so he's a potential big threat.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And he's close with Alyssa, so they might need to start paying.
No, he had one back-to-back yet. He just won this one, then he wins, which we haven't talked about yet, that household. All right, so Christian wins this. Doesn't use a veto, so you still got Brittany and Brent on the chopping block, which is exactly where this whole thing they want them to be anyway, right? So far, the plan is coming along perfectly the way Derek X and the rest of the Royal Flush planned it to be. So, you got and then you have, so then, of course, they do the vote, and, of course, Brent's like, yeah, I'm good. He's feeling pretty good up there. Like, yep, I got my team, I got the numbers, I think I'm good. He's, of course, Brent's walking around talking to people like, hey, man. he's telling these dudes. So he walks up to Derek X and Kylie. He's like, hey, and who are in on the plan already to kick him out. He's like, hey guys, here's what needs to happen. Y'all need to go talk to X and tell X that you're going to vote against me. So he thinks y'all are going to vote against me. That way he thinks that he's going to have the numbers, but in reality, we got the numbers, and this is going to be the greatest bamboozle in the history of the house.
Let me get this straight. He planned for you guys to meet with us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To make sure the veto isn't used.
Correct. And he said, it will probably be one of the best blindsides in the history of the show.
Yeah, even though he was clueless to that, I don't think anything would have changed, even if he would have realized what's going on.
Nah, man.
I don't think he could have pulled any more votes than he already had. So
he didn't have any.
It was kind of like a foregone conclusion that he was going.
Yeah. So he had all of these people. Just this poor guy.
He would have had to really get to Derek and have to convince him. And Derek and Hannah are really close now.
Oh yeah.
Derek X and Hannah.
Yeah. Hannah's already said she's got a crush on Derek X. Derek X and he's got a crush on her.
I don't know if it's completely mutual, but Derek seems a little hesitant. But they are getting closer and snuggling and everything else.
So I mean,
they're not quite making out yet.
And as much as they portrayed Brent in this and made you like, man, the girls are right. I mean, he's definitely too full of himself and all that. You still felt bad for the guy, right? Because he had the whole house working against him, like even his own team, and that's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
At least with Frenchie, he still had a couple people like, who were still with him, And this one, nah. I mean, they did the vote, and this poor guy.
And Frenchie was doing all kinds of games. Brent hasn't really done that.
Yeah, that's true too.
He's not really playing games with them.
No. I mean, Brent did nothing except being full of himself. He didn't do anything to hurt anybody else. He was just annoying.
And I will say this: Brent went out pretty classy and stuff like that.
He did his. So,
he didn't stand a chance. He didn't get a single vote.
He gets voted out. I mean, unanimously. This poor guy gets unanimously voted out. Right? He's expecting to at least get some votes. He doesn't. He goes out. He gives everybody their hugs. Right? Doesn't cry. Ain't got no tears coming out of Brent's eyes. He walks. Grant. Gives everybody hugs. Hey guys. He's hey, it's just a game. Don't worry about it. It's just a game. Hugs everybody and walks out to talk to Julie. And you know, like I said, he handled it very classy. You know, and now what really irritated me and pissed me off was, you know, when they do the screen of your teammates,
the goodbye messages.
The goodbye messages, yeah, man. People were rude to him, like, haha, Brent, you know, you thought we were gonna vote for you. You're full of yourself. Bye bye, peace out.
Hannah and
like,
Tiffany
man,
were a little bit.
Hannah and Tiffany were horrible to him in that, man. And I was like, what's the point of that, man? Come on now. It's like, number one, you already stabbed the guy in the back, and you were his teammate there, Hannah. You know, and it's like, you know, pull this crap, but man, for you to act that way, she definitely lost points with me, man.
Look, I totally get someone not liking Brent, but
right.
Being
you don't need
being like that to him.
You don't need to be a jerk at it, you know, in the goodbye thing. You at least say, "Hey, man, you were cool," you know.
Be classy.
Yeah, like classy, yeah, exactly. You know, and it's like, you know, but they weren't. They were rude to him, and they were just jerks, man.
And
it was like,
if he came after someone, I could see them saying that, but
right.
he didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't. You know, nobody else was jerks to anybody else when they, you know, the first two that got kicked out. But now these two, you know, Hannah and Tiffany want to be jerks to Brent on the goodbye thing, and it was like, come on, dude. It's like, man, it's uncalled for.
Now I will say, no one's really causing too much trouble in the house, but Azah and Tiffany are kind of...
Yeah.
Tiffany did not like Azah approaching her and questioning her.
Right, yeah, because Tiffany was questioning Aja, hey, you know, why did you... Or Aja was questioning Tiffany, hey, why did you and Derek, you know...
Like tag team
Brittany, you know, because she doesn't know about the royal flush. Aja doesn't. You know, and then, you know, so of course, you know, she's like, hey, you know, we just got, you know, of course, Tiffany's like, you know what, hey, this is the game plan. This is what we had planned. This is what we're doing, you know, and Aja's like, okay. Like, and then Tiffany being a little backstabby goes back to X, and she was like, Aja was very confrontational with me.
Yeah,
and,
she wasn't very confrontational.
No, she wasn't.
She was just questioning things.
And she's like, you know, I don't know how this is going to pan out with her. So almost like, hey, X, we might need to think about freaking targeting Aja and getting her out of this house, you know. And it was like, man, that's messed up. We can get Tiffany lost. I know last week when I said I kind of like Tiffany, this week, dude, I want Tiffany
very
gone.
manipulative.
Very manipulative, very backstabby. You know, even with her own teams.
And we kind of saw
like,
a little bit of this last week, and we kind of felt like this was coming. So
yeah, and the funny thing is, like, all the other black people in the group that are part of the cookout are all like, "Hey, cookout first." And then now Tiffany is like, you know what? You know, I mean, from the get go, Tiffany has been, it's all about me. You know, I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to win. Fine. But, you know, the fact that now, especially like the nicest member of the cookout team, like the one with the best heart, now you're going to try to call her out and be like, oh, you know, I don't know about her. You know, and it's like, come on, man. You can't be doing that crap. You can't be pulling that, you know, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. But Tiffany lost all her brownie points she had with me. I want her gone now. So, but yeah, I mean, speaking of which, man, so, I mean, what do you think here? Who you want to see kind of staying in for a long run, and who you kind of want to see on the shopping block next week?
Yeah, I'm still rooting for Whitney, but I liked what I saw from Derek F and Aja, so I like, you know, that they supported Brittany, so I'm fans of them. Yeah, I'm probably rooting for those guys, those three now.
I'm right there with you, man. Well, I mean, I like Whitney. Don't get me wrong, but as far as you know, just the kindness. I don't mind
Derek either.
Derek X.
Yeah.
Derek X is digging himself a hole, man.
But he's starting to realize that.
Yeah, I mean, Derek X is getting all these other people, you know, kicked out, but he's keeping these other two teams strong that he's not a part of, and he's finally realizing, oh, what am I doing? We got to get rid of a king.
I think he's going to luck out that the show's going to reconfigure the teams.
Right. And then, and you know, we haven't got to the head of household yet, right? So, you know, they had the head of household competition, and of course, the one team that nobody wants to win it is the Kings, and the Kings win it. So now the Kings are all exempt again for a week. So now Derek's like, "Holy crap, I'm really screwing up here."
Yeah, time to come up with a plan.
Time to come up with a plan because you know I'm in this team.
And Tiffany was starting to plot against the Kings too.
Yeah,
like she was setting things in motion with.
Well,
Derek.
all the teams are now. All the teams are talking about, hey, we got to knock a member of the Kings out, and it's too late because they won an exemption against. All these other people have screwed up bad now, and they're kind of starting to realize it. You know, but you know, and so it's gonna be funny how this plays out. But so me, man, I'm right there with you as far as I really like Aja and Derek F, man. They're just good-hearted people. You know, they try to be friends with everybody. They're not stabbing anybody in the back. You know, Whitney, yeah, like I said, I definitely like Whitney, you know, but she's not as cool as they are heart-wise. But, I mean, you know, if I had to choose anybody else in the house, I'd definitely choose her. But, yeah, right now, man, I'm kind of like, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Aja or Derek, you know, win. Or even
they don't show too much of Whitney or Sarah or anything.
No, they don't. Yeah,
so
I think we've seen it. We've seen a little more of Sarah this time. She got to be the announcer for one of the events and all that, you know. But yeah, so yeah, man, I just but Tiffany, man, you know, last week I was kind of into Tiffany, like, okay, you know, she's a little backstabby, but I kind of like what she's doing. This week I was like, nah, man, the way she's doing it now, the way she's playing against, you know, trying to play against Aja and all that, I was like, nah, no more Tiffany. She's got to go. Got to get her out of this house.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens next week. I'm looking forward to it. All right, guys. Hey, that's our Big Brother review for the week. It was interesting to say the least. If you guys liked our review here, hit like and subscribe. And please Put in the comments what you think. If you agree with us, if you don't, we'd like to hear what you got to say about it. And until next week, we'll check you later.
See you guys. And then as you're talking, I can look and stuff like that.
I'm kind of digging some Majin now, man. Like, yeah. It's on like Donkey Kong. Ah, yeah. Good stuff. That's the good stuff, folks. The whiskey sour. Or is he going to be escorted off the plane like some economy schnuck? Like the...
Schnuck.
Damn it, I had to go on too. I was doing good.
And they're going after my boy Champagne.
Yeah, they are, Josh. So what's up, man? We gonna have Brent toasting it and kicking it and cooling it.
Relaxing, all cool off.
Shooting some b-ball laps around the school.
Ghetto superstar. That is what you want. Coming from afar. We can rely on each other. All right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, they were working together.
Yeah, they were, but...
All right, let's get in the show. Maybe we can talk about it.
Let's get in the show, man.
Try to talk about the show before we even
Yeah.
doing it. All right.